Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let's face it, UNRWA is a political issue. It's being pushed by pro-Israelis and and think tanks that actually sprung for this purpose because they believe that cutting off aid to Palestinian refugees will simply liquidate the Palestinian issue. That the right to return that the Palestinians hang on will just simply disappear. So I want to ask you, is the United States of America committed to continued funding of UNRWA?
We'll say that the. I don't know what that was. Saeed, obviously, there is text in this pending legislation that would preclude us from doing so. We are an administration that follows the law. That being said, in this pending legislation, there is $10 billion for humanitarian assistance, of which $1.4 billion is for humanitarian aid for Gaza. This is an issue we take very seriously. We also believe, even prior to this conversation about the supplemental, we have, as I told Simon, been unambiguous, in my opinion, about the critical work that UNRWA does, not just in Gaza, but in other parts of the region as well. We think that the work they do is critical. They are an important vehicle for getting humanitarian aid to those who need it. And we're going to continue to work with donor countries and UNRWA, as well as they work through this investigation and work through this internal matter that they're dealing with, but also broadly to ensure that the Palestinian civilians that rely on this kind of work are able to get it.
Investigations seem to have been launched because there's allegedly 12 members of those who attacked on October 7 were actually working with UNRWA. Out of a an employee population of 13,000.
Said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 2 or 12. People participating in terrorism, in a terrorist attack in which 1,200 individuals were murdered is unacceptable to us. And that is why we've called for these investigations. And we've temporarily put UNRWA funding on pause. But we also have said how important this issue is, and we want to see it worked through because we know how vital their work is.
So how are you responding to Lazzarini and Guterres, who stated very clearly that UNRWA has funding only till the end of this month, which is a very short month?
Well, that is why it is our hope that this internal investigation and review is done so expeditiously and done so as quickly as possible so that there is, as Matt has spoken to previously, there is obligated funding that the United States had not transferred yet. Simultaneously, we're going to continue to work with donor countries to ensure that they can continue supporting UNRWA so this work can continue.
So lastly, on this point, so what would be satisfactory to you in terms of how this investigation, where is it leading to, or where should it lead to? Arresting these people, arresting 12 people and so on, and that would be, we put the page behind us, and that...
There, of course, needs to be accountability. We've spoken to this before. It's not for us to be prescriptive here. We, of course, are going to look at the assessments made from this internal investigation and go from there. One, we, of course, want to see accountability. We want to see steps taken and measures implemented so something like this can't happen again. And we want to see just an internal review of policies and procedures to double make sure that something like this isn't repeated.
And on Rafah, we heard that the Israeli Minister of Defense just issued a threat or whatever you want to call it, just like a few minutes ago, that they are going into Rafah. You have any comment on that? You have any comment on what might happen next in Rafah, where you have such a concentration of those who have been displaced?
So, Saeed, I've not seen those comments, and certainly I'm not going to comment or opine on every military strategy or tactic that we hear discussed or floated or is reported on as it relates to the Israelis conducting this operation. What I will just say is that we have been pretty clear that Rafah is an important conduit for the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. It is an important conduit for foreign nationals, including American citizens and LPRs, to be able to safely leave Gaza. It is also somewhere where more than 1 million people are sheltering, and so we of course would want any operation to be being conducted in that region to take that into mind. But of course, I'm not going to opine on it more specifically than that. I'm going to Nadia, I'll come to you.